Hey, my name's Ameer. I'm happy you made it to this video training. So I'm going to teach you right now my basic principles and philosophies to grow a six-figure business in 6 months. So let's begin. Okay, so these are going to be the foundation questions that you need to answer in order to move ahead, okay? Who, what, where, and how. These are the building blocks of any single business in the world, regardless of if it's a six-figure business, a seven-figure business, an eight-figure business, an offline business, on the moon business, on the Mars business, or right here, a Toronto business. It doesn't matter. These principles apply to everything in business. The groundwork, okay? Think about a house. You got to build a foundation first before you put the roof. You can't do it opposite, can you? No, exactly. First part is the who. Let's go through it one by one. Move the board nice over here. Who. There's two parts to who. First of all is who are you talking to? That's the most important thing in any single business in the world. Who are you talking to? What is your demographic? Who is your custom avatar? So let's write these things down, right? I'll write down custom avatar. So what does this mean, custom avatar? It means finding out exactly a singular individual that you're talking to. We like to first start off here and narrow it down like this. And I'll give you an example. Let's say roughly 20-year span. So males between the age of 20 to 40. What are their top 5 problems? What are their top 5 likes? What are their buying habits? What are their spending habits? Where do they live? Where do they hang out online? What are their social media habits? Etc., etc., etc. Then we start cutting it down, narrowing it, until we have a solid singular individual. For example, Mike. Mike is a male between the age of 28 to 32. His main problem is struggling to grow his business past $250,000 a year. He has done X, Y, and Z types of programs. He invests roughly anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a year in self-development courses, and he's primarily located in Canada, United States. And these are the websites that he visits, and these are the other auxiliary products he's purchased in the past. See how specific we are? And it's really important because the more specific you are with your custom avatar, the more Jedi mind power you have because you're in their mind. Think about that. You know exactly how they're thinking. Think how much easier your marketing is going to be. Because that's the first step, is really understand who are you talking to. And it's going to take time. You know, this isn't an overnight thing, figuring out your custom avatar. It's going to take you a lot of work, dedication, but in the end, it's worth it, okay? So there's a second part to who. And the second part is, who are you? So I'm going to put a big U. Who are you? For example, we got health coaches, business coaches, life coaches, financial coaches, athletic coaches, etc., etc. But in each of those different categories, there's so many different sub-levels and micro niches. So it's really important that you figure out what type of micro niche you want to dominate. If you're in the health world, maybe you're a sports coach, dealing specifically with Olympic athletes. If you're in the business world though, maybe you're only dealing with e-commerce stores. See what I mean? You really have to narrow down who you're speaking to because, you know, your products and your services can't apply to everybody. I can't sell these whiteboard marker pens to everybody, can I? Only certain types of people in the world will actually use them. So figure out where in that micro niche do you dominate, okay? Step 2 is the what. What? What are you talking about? Now you know who you're talking to. Now what are you talking about? I highly suggest that you figure out at least 20. So let's write this down. Figure out at least 20 to 30 problems of your ideal client and solve them. Simple as that. And if you want to know, figure out like real deep problems, go in forums. Remember, because of your research from the first part, finding out your demographics, you now know where your ideal client hangs out online. So go in those forums, such as Quora, such as Yahoo Answers, all these other different realms, and figure out what their problems are based on how they communicate there and solve those problems. This is what we're going to use later on in our marketing to make content. For example, articles, podcasts, YouTube, infographics, Pinterest, etc., etc., etc. We're going deep into the human mental psyche of your custom avatar. You're literally in their mind solving their problems, as simple as that, okay? So figure out 20 to 30 problems. What? Okay, so next is where, right? Where? You're talking about what, so you address the what. Maybe, for example, oh, I have issues making money. Cool, let me solve that for you. That's the what. That's the problem. Now, where are you taking them? So there's two parts to this. If we're looking at, this is a Super Mario analogy. Super Mario. I didn't make this up. I forget who said this. Anyways, I'm taking it. Picasso has a saying, good artist copy, great artist steal. Boom! Okay. So obviously, you know, Super Mario, he eats that flower and becomes Super Mario. So he goes for something like this, then to something like that, right? That's your job. It's your job to take your client from a puny little Mario to a Super Mario, okay? So your content, for example, say, I'm gonna draw, I'm horrible. I am a horrible artist. But anyways, that's your client, you know, and, you know, they're kind of crying and tears on the eyes. You know, they don't look happy, right? Okay. This is you right here. I'm gonna put down you. And your job right here is to educate and teach them either with your service, product, content, article, whatever it may be. You're giving them that flower. So I don't know what your flower is, but maybe it's an article, maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a service, maybe it's a product. So let's make that a little bit easier. We'll actually have, so I can symbolize a little bit better, but we'll have like a flower in the middle so you guys understand. So that's a flower. That's your client, right? Going this way. Ooh, that's starting off bad. So going this way, right? They should end up like this. Right? Somehow, you know, jacked like this, boom. You know, become like super. Worst artist in the world. Picasso would be proud, or wouldn't he? I have no idea. Anyways, they're here. They consume your flower, your content. Now they're there. They're Super Mario. So that's your job. You have to show them where you're taking them. You have to future frame yourself. Anthony Robbins talks about this. Jim Rohn talks about this. People don't buy features. People buy emotions and feelings. So if you can show your potential client where you want to take them. So for example, they're here. They consume your flower, your products, your service, your articles. And by consuming that, they can see where you're taking them. It's very powerful. So when you're doing marketing, each article that you have, each podcast you have, each video you have, such as this, should show your potential client where you're taking them. To take them from a puny Mario to a Super Mario, okay? That's the where. So this is the last part. How do you get there? The final creme de la creme when it comes to this formula. Remember, we just talked about the where. Where are you actually taking your ideal clients or your potential clients, right? You future frame them, right? You future picture them, meaning just imagine, you know, by doing X, Y, and Z, you can achieve this. And you did this by supplying podcasts, by giving value, by doing articles, by doing, for example, infographics, whatever the medium of communication is, you are actually giving value and showing them the possibilities of getting to that destination they want. Now the question is, how do they get there, right? And this is where your flower comes in, your service and your product, okay? So let's go back to Mr. Normal Mario. He's right here. And remember, he's sad, right? He's sad, he's crying, he's like, boo hoo hoo, I don't have muscles, okay? He is reading your article, and your article is talking about the where you can take him. Just imagine, you do these abs, you do it like this, etc., 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 right? Then, eventually, he can become super strong, right? Something like that. You know, super strong. And that's Super Mario right there. He's super strong. But there's something missing over here. What's that? That is the how. This is a put money sign right here. This is the flower. But that's your flower. Because once they read the where, right? Articles, podcasts, YouTube, etc. How did they get there? This is where your service and product comes in. Right? So for example, I mentioned want to get six-pack abs, and they only had like a tidbit of information here. Well, guess what? Your ebook can get them there. $7 ebook. Or you talk about a business course and you give them a little bit of information here. Well, guess what? This is a master business course where you lay down everything, your fundamentals, your secret. You took 20 years of being an entrepreneur and you condensed it within 20 hours. That's how they get there. Right? So it's something, the analogy of tip of the iceberg. This is a tip of the iceberg. So if they're looking at this, that's all they see. They get the nibble of the iceberg at the top. The rest is this down here. And that's why it's really, really important to set the frame right. You can't do the how before the where, right? That's why it's really important to do the what, where, how. In fact, the who, what, where, how, right? All in the right singular order. You can't mix and match them. It doesn't work that way because it goes back to mental framing, okay? So that's the how. That's the final part of this basic formula. That ends part 1. Next part is going to be the online aspect where I'm going to delve in deep when it comes to online marketing, how to actually structure your website, how to create traffic, and how to do the email marketing on the back end. So stay tuned for part 2. Okay guys, so this is part 2, the online aspect. And we're going to move pretty fast. It's not super complicated. The first part was the most important, understanding the basic philosophies of business, okay? So we're going to be breaking down this into, I believe, we'll say 4 different parts. So 4 P's, okay? And basically this is how it's going to look. So these are the 4 P's. T is traffic, H and M. So H is either home site or M is mothership. C is conversions, S is sales. Those are the 4 main pillars, right? So let me write down pillars over here. Pillars. Okay, so the 4 pillars of any online business, regardless e-commerce, selling coaching packages, info products, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Okay, I've used these same principles on multiple businesses that are online. All of them scale quick, fast, easy. It's not complicated, but they're systems, they're structures. It's not you running around like this. Oh, I'm going to do this today. Now, there's a reason, a rhyme to all this madness. Okay, so let's begin. 4 pillars. We shall work like this. Well, let's start from your home site first. We'll skip pillar 1 and just go to the home site, then we'll go back to pillar 1 for a second, okay? So if we're looking at your home site right here, remember, this represents who you are online. And if I go to your website and it looks cheesy and it looks outdated, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm not talking about spending a lot of money on the website. I'm just saying general, basic common sense. There's themes you can buy for $50 off a theme force and get a person on Odesk or Elance to upload it for $100. I kid you not, for under $200, you can have a kick-ass website. So there's no excuses. I'm serious. There's no freaking excuses, okay? So when looking at any website per se, right away, so if we're looking at above the fold over here, 30%, over here, say, this is the 30% line, so you guys understand, right? Majority of views these days are from mobile. That's it, you know. Personally, all my business online, 70% is mobile. So people actually don't see the whole screen. It looks nice, but they don't see it. They see this, right? So above the fold is really important because this is where you want to have your USP, unique selling proposition, right? So we'll write down USP. So what is a USP? If I go to your website and you're selling, for example, fashion, I gotta know right away if this fashion is for me. And there's two ways you can do a USP, either through imagery, when I go on your website and wow, that vibes with me, I'm connected to it, or by text. So it's your responsibility in the upper 30% right here to put a USP. So in our fashion businesses we have is, for example, we put a male, I can't draw, but I say a male in his undies that looks ripped. And right away, you know for a fact that if you're a young male and you vibe with that, you're staying. As simple as that. As opposed to us having a woman in their undies, which is not our demographics or market, right? Same thing with like text though. You can add like, we help companies scale fast. That's a USP. So if I land on your website and that's the main text right here, I know if I'm a company from 500K or a million, roughly in that range, and I need help scaling, you have the potential to help me. So it's really important because if I land on your website and it says nothing, well, who the fuck's it for, right? I gotta spend time. People don't have time. People have the biggest issues with ADD today. You think they have time to scroll through, oh, what does this guy do? No, they don't. So when they land on your website, it better be crystal clear on who you are and what services and benefits can you provide me. Remember, companies, people, etc., we are all egotistical. You have to piggyback on the egotism of every single human being in the world. So figure out what your USP is, either create that into an image or a text and keep it above the fold. And it's crucial too that somewhere right here, we'll put, sub, somewhere up there, either a button or a bar or a box, whatever it may be, it has to be for your email subscriber list because that's the genesis, that is the ethos, that is the blood life of all businesses online. I forget the stat, but they said every single email right now is roughly worth to all companies online $42 for the lifetime value of an email. $42. Think about that. You got 10 emails a day, 100 emails a day, some cases 1,000 emails a day. You do the math. You can scale that quite easily and quite fast, right? So let's repeat: 30% USP and get an email. Okay, that's generally speaking. I'm not going to get into too much more complication with that, but that's how your home site should look. Okay. So now you built out your site and you have to worry about traffic. Where are you getting traffic from? We got a couple options. We got Facebook, right? We got Twitter. We got, YouTube. We got Instagram. You got Pinterest, etc., etc., etc. Which one is right for you? All of the above. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to concentrate on all of the above. You need to utilize all of the above. But you got to figure out your 80-20 rule. Meaning, where are your audience or where are your avatars or your ideal clients spending most of their time on? Is it Facebook? Well, guess what? That's your number one marketing channel right there. Is it YouTube? Well, guess what? That's your number one marketing channel right there. So take your time and identify where your tribe is online. For example, Pinterest, majority is females, age 30 till 50. The businesses we have, usually males. Why would we spend time on Pinterest? We still pin, but that's not where demographics is. And I don't care about the traffic from there. It's not qualified leads. However, YouTube and Twitter, if we look at analytics, you look at background, that's where our tribe is. So what does that mean? You spend more time there. It's never the amount of traffic. People always talk about more. It's not more traffic. It's qualified traffic, right? What do you want to have? You want to have, 1,000 people a day to your website, or you want to have 10 super hot targeted leads to your website that 10, for example, 7 out of 10 will buy. Which one do you want to have? 1,000 untargeted leads or 10 super hot leads that 7 out of 10 want to buy? I'll take this any single day over 1,000, any single day. So remember, it's about getting targeted traffic. And the key to all of this is simple. I'll tell you the key right now. I'm gonna give you a formula. When you're first starting off, you gotta hustle hard, okay? So once you identify your channel, say it's YouTube, I recommend, say it's content marketing, whatever it may be, right? YouTube, Twitter, etc., blah, 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 blah. You should at least 3 times a week, and this is just for the beginning, 3 times a week post. So what does this mean? This means new content 3 times a week. I know it seems a lot, but you got to get the ball rolling. And parallel with that, I would highly suggest paid traffic ads, which I won't get into today. That's a whole different story. But 3 times a week. So make 3 videos a week if you're doing YouTube. If your main target is, for example, Facebook, right? So do 3 pieces of content marketing on your website. Link that to your Facebook post. In fact, I tell you a little trick with YouTube. Even the videos you do on YouTube, you can edit them a little bit. So for example, you have a call to action on the end of the YouTube video, you can cut that out and actually take that same video and upload it to Facebook, right? It's a 2-for-1. It's a no-brainer right there. In fact, I prefer video over any piece of content marketing because this is what you can do. You can take a video such as this. You can rip the audio, now it's a podcast. You can rip the transcript, transform the transcript, now it's a blog post. You can take that transcript once again and hire somebody at Odesk, and you can make beautiful slides, so like a PowerPoint. Now you can put it up to SlideShare, right? So now you can take, once again, that blog post that you came from the transcript, add some pictures, do some nice graphic design to it, now you got an infographic. Do you see what just happened there? You took one piece of content, which is this video right now, and you made multiple pieces of different content syndicated across the net. That's ROI right there. That's using your head right, instead of you doing a million things all over the place, right? So if you want to copy this, go ahead, copy it. I highly suggest that you do. It's going to save you time. So going back to this again for traffic. So whatever medium you pick, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it may be, 3 times a week. If you can do more, more. If you can do 5, 5. You can do 10, 10. The more, the merrier. Because at the end of the day, you have to create an authority website, authority channel. People have to trust you to buy from you. And you have to draw in the right leads. You gotta draw in warm leads. Nothing's better than warm leads. Who wants cold leads? Yeah, we use them, but they're hard to convert. It's a longer buying process as opposed to warm leads, right? So if you're putting out their articles on e-commerce, on health, whatever it may be, and a person who's genuinely interested in that article opts in, gives their email for something, it's easier to convert that person into a customer. You get what I mean? Okay, so this is step 3 of the pillars, and we're gonna be talking about conversions. So step 1 was the traffic sources. So we got YouTube, Facebook, content marketing, all these other different syndications. They go back to the mothership. In the mothership, so that's your home website, you're gonna get your conversions. So this is how it's done. You need something called a lead magnet. You heard this before. Free report, free video series, blah, 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 blah. Now, before you ask the question, which one is best, tell you the truth, I really don't know. I've tested them all. I've done video series, I've done free reports, I've done checklists, I've done books. Jesus, I've done every single thing you can possibly think about. Some have worked quite well, others haven't worked. In fact, some that have worked in the past really well don't work anymore. So I'll tell you what has worked for me. I try them all, and I let math tell me what wins, right? Analytics. I go in the back and I see, this one's converting, cool. Let me keep on using that one, and the other ones I discard. So try it out. Maybe start with 3, checklist, video series, and a free report on something, okay? So they go to your website, they see your lead magnets, plural, not singular, plural, and they give you their email address. Now, generally speaking, I would at least like to see a 10% site-wide conversion. Meaning if you've done the copy right, you've done the positioning right, pop-up boxes, you have in your about page also an opt-in box above the fold. Remember the 30%, an opt-in box. When they're reading your articles, right, your content like this, there should be an opt-in in the 30%. And at the end of the article, the name of the game is emails, right? So you have to give your potential client a million chances to opt in. Don't just give them one chance, give them a million chances, right? So if you do it right, generally speaking, you should see a 10% site-wide conversion. So what kind of softwares do I like to use for your email collector? Aweber, ActiveCampaign. Actually, that's my favorite right now. ActiveCampaign is awesome. If you haven't tried it, try it out. GetResponse is really good, and MailChimp. There's the other ones. There's Infusionsoft, there's Entrepreneur, but don't waste your time. Truthfully, if you're not doing it yourself, that's fine. You can outsource those. But if you are doing email marketing yourself, I would highly recommend either Aweber or ActiveCampaign. Those are my 2 personal favorites. Okay? So that is the second part, is the conversions, right? And now the final part, sales, the back end, email marketing, right? So I'll tell you, well, I'm not gonna tell you. Let me show you a little quick funnel I made before to set up consultations for one of my clients, right? So this is called a 4-stage call. I should really get better at this. Yeah, art wasn't my forte. Somehow I can draw a telephone, I guess. That's an old school telephone. Anyways, you get the idea. So now they're on their email list. And this is sequential per day. That's the 4th day. This is a simple funnel we created for one of my clients. She's a naturopath, and this is something we set up for her. So as soon as person opted in, she gave a free report. The first email they got is something about her. She introduced herself. Hi, my name is, I'm gonna leave her name out, but X, thank you so much for opting in. I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. And she goes into details about her story, who she is, where she comes from, her pains, her turmoil. She pretty much lays out the hero's journey Joseph Campbell talks about. So this is a great opportunity to build rapport and build, deep rooted connections with your potential clients. So that's the first thing we did. Second thing we did is we did a case study from one of her patients. So basically, before and after, she came to us with this. This is how we fixed her. That's it, nothing else. The third one, same thing. So we had 2 case studies. The 4th email, and this is all in each day, meaning day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. The 4th email is a general story about the birth of the clinic, about helping people globally, about the bigger vision in life. And finally, at the end of the email, I'll say roughly 35% below. So if we're looking at an email like this, they're reading to 75% level, 35% or 30% below is a call to action to set up a free consultation. That's it. Simple as that. And I'll give you the math right now. So 100 people opted in. 100 people got the first email right away because that's automatic. I'll say roughly 65% saw this, 45% saw that, and I'll say roughly another 40% saw that. If we're looking at open rates on our back end, give or take, okay? Now, out of 100 people going through this 4-part email sequence, she got on the phone roughly 18 people. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me put it up here. 18 people. Out of the 18 people, she closed roughly 7. 7 people out of the 18 people, and this is a local business. And these aren't small packages. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. There's a one VIP package that's $10,000, right? So you see the possibilities when it comes to the back-end funnel. This is something simple. We can all get geeky and do fractals and split off, go this way, go that way, depending on automation service you have. But this is just standard basic. But why did it work? It's all about pre-framing. Remember, we started from there, the who, what, where, and how, right? That's where the business started from. And then the targeted traffic, getting the warm leads, right? Because you're solving their problems. You're showing them where to go. That's the flower right there. They go on the phone. Remember, they're reaching out to you. You're not calling them. This isn't cold calling. This is inbound. It's not outbound. They're calling you. They're setting up the call. It just goes to show you the power. Now think about this. If she had 1,000 people, 10,000 people. So when I see a lot of businesses out there complaining about, their business isn't growing or they can't make money online, I'm like, you don't have the philosophy set in stone. You're working backwards, right? You're trying to take bits and pieces of everything. That's not how it works. Right? There's a system, there's a rhyme and reason to all of this. And what I showed you is just the surface of everything. Just so you can get a general idea of the possibilities out there. My business shouldn't be complicated. It's all about following a blueprint. I didn't invent this. I have my own business coaches. I spent lots of money on business coaches, and I'll keep on spending for the rest of my life. I at least spend 20% of everything I earn on self-development per year. But I want you to take all this information you learned today, the who, what, where, the 4 pillars, right? So we had traffic, homepage, conversion, sales, and I want you to apply it to your business, okay? And I want you to succeed in life. I don't want you to struggle anymore. And if you need any help, I do offer a small training series. You can click below this video. And if you have any other questions, comments, or whatever it may be, please leave a comment below this video and have an amazing day. Thanks for watching.